Welcome to this video on pyramids of biomass. This revision guide is designed to help you understand trophic levels and energy transfer, essential topics for your GCSE Biology exam. In this video, we'll cover the definition of biomass, how energy is transferred between trophic levels, the structure of biomass pyramids, and some essential exam tips to help you succeed. Let's begin Chapter 1. What is biomass? We will look at its definition and how it is measured across different trophic levels. Biomass is defined as the dry mass of living material in an organism. It represents the total organic matter and reflects the chemical energy available to the next trophic level. Why do we use dry mass? Because water content varies significantly. Drying a sample ensures a consistent measurement for fair comparisons. Remember, always specify dry mass in your exams. Biomass also represents stored chemical energy within organic molecules like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, which organisms use for growth, reproduction, and vital life processes. Pyramids of biomass are more accurate than pyramids of numbers, which can be misleading if a single large producer supports thousands of insects. Moving on to Chapter 2, Trophic Levels. We'll explore how organisms are organized within a food chain. A trophic level describes an organism's position in a food chain based on its distance from the original energy source, the sun. The four main trophic levels are producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Each level has progressively less biomass. Producers, like plants and algae, occupy the base of the food chain, capturing solar energy and accumulating the greatest total biomass. Now, Chapter 3, Energy Transfer. We will discuss how energy moves up the food chain and where it is lost. Energy transfer is never 100% efficient. Typically, only about 10% of energy is passed from one trophic level to the next. Energy is lost in several ways, as heat during respiration, through movement and metabolic processes, as uneaten body parts, and in waste like feces and urine. Much of the energy released during respiration is lost as heat, leaving less available for building new tissues, which is why consumers must eat frequently. Next, let's consider the biomass that is not eaten. This represents energy that never transfers up the food chain. Examples include roots, bones, shells, and tough woody tissues like bark. Energy is also lost through waste products. When organisms digest food, some material remains undigested and is expelled as feces. Furthermore, nitrogenous waste like urea in urine also carries away chemical energy. As a rule of thumb, only about 10% of energy is passed to the next level. The other 90% is lost as heat, waste, or remains locked in uneaten biomass. We are now starting Chapter 4, Pyramids of Biomass. In this section, we examine the shape and structure of these pyramids and what they reveal about ecosystem energy flow. Because biomass decreases at each level, the data creates a characteristic pyramid shape, with the widest bar at the base for producers and the narrowest at the apex. When reading these, remember, the width of the bar represents total dry biomass, and the vertical position indicates the trophic level, starting with producers at the bottom. Biomass pyramids are almost always pyramid-shaped because they track organic mass, not just the count of individuals. A rare exception occurs in aquatic systems with rapidly reproducing producers. Fewer organisms can be supported at higher trophic levels due to the energy limit. Apex predators are naturally rare and often require large territories to find enough food. This energy loss is precisely why food chains are short. After 4 or 5 levels, there is simply not enough energy left to support a viable population of tertiary or quaternary consumers. Moving to Chapter 5, Energy and Efficiency. Here we look at how efficiency affects growth and what ultimately limits it. Greater energy efficiency allows for more biomass production. This is a crucial concept in agriculture, where energy loss can dictate which farming methods are most efficient for food production. Energy losses dictate the length of the chain. Only a very small percentage of sunlight is captured initially, and subsequent transfers lose nearly 90% at each step, strictly limiting the ecosystem. Biomass and energy are intrinsically linked. Since each gram of biomass holds chemical energy, the reduction in biomass up the pyramid is a direct indicator of declining available energy. Applying this to sustainable farming, we see why plant-based diets can be more efficient. By eating producers directly, we bypass trophic levels where the majority of energy is lost. Finally, we reach Chapter 6. This section will cover exam preparation, including key facts and techniques to secure those top marks. Let's focus on the single most important point for your exam. Biomass always decreases as you move up each trophic level. This happens because energy is lost at every transfer, as heat, in waste, and in uneaten parts. Remember these 4 key facts. Biomass is always measured as dry mass, producers have the greatest biomass, energy is lost primarily through respiration, and the resulting pyramids are nearly always wider at the base. Avoid these common exam mistakes. Always specify dry mass, clearly explain the methods of energy loss, distinguish between numbers and biomass pyramids, and remember that energy is lost in multiple ways simultaneously. When answering a 6-mark question on why biomass decreases, use this framework. Define biomass, explain heat loss via respiration, describe the impact of uneaten biomass, and account for loss in waste products. Let's apply this to a food chain, grass to rabbit to fox to eagle. Producers capture solar energy, but at each consumer level, significant energy is lost, meaning only a tiny fraction of the original energy reaches the eagle. When comparing measurements, remember, pyramids of numbers are simple but can be misleading. Biomass pyramids are more accurate, while energy pyramids are the most precise but the hardest to collect data for. Test your knowledge with these quick-fire questions. What is biomass? Why do we use dry mass? Why does it decrease? And finally, why are food chains limited in length? Try answering these without notes. To summarize, these core concepts form the foundation of everything you need for your exam. Understanding the flow of energy is the key to mastering this topic. Refer to this glossary for essential terminology, including definitions for biomass, trophic levels, producers, consumers, and the specific impact of respiration and dry mass on your calculations. You're now ready for your exam. Remember the 3 main reasons for energy loss. Practice your exam technique, and good luck with your studies.